establish a baseline, a common ground for everyone. So I'm just quickly going to take you through the design sprint process. Nothing very complicated, nothing very lengthy, and then we can dive into the topic of AI and design sprint. So what is a design sprint? Very simple. It's a structured problem-solving process that takes 4 or 5 days, depending on the recipe you wanna do. But like the idea is that a team of experts tackles like a big problem, like using this sequence of exercises. And when we talk about a team of experts, this would be cross-functional experts coming from all sides of the business. As you can see, could be sales, marketing, could be engineering, could be UX designers. So all that is important is that all of these people have a diverse perspective, and above all, they have some expertise into solving the problems. And then when we talk about problems tackled with design sprints, we talk about critical business questions. You can see some examples here on the left-hand side of the screen. But essentially, they can be around product or services or process. So that's what makes design sprints such a versatile problem-solving process, because you can apply it to a lot of different topics. So during this process, the team solves these big problems, going through, as I was saying, like very exact steps. You can see them here on the screen. They start by understanding the problem, defining a goal, defining their assumptions, their blockers, the risk, where do they want to go, and then they ideate solutions, decide on the best of them, they prototype them, and then they test them with customers. So in only 4 days, team can learn whether their solution works, it's validated, or if it needs rethinking, if it's invalidated by user testing. As you can see in this diagram, which I think it's very popular, design sprint is a great shortcut, right? Where you can learn if something works without going through a very expensive cycle of building something and then just seeing it in production that it didn't hit the mark. So yeah, you can learn without wasting time in endless meetings or without investing a ton into something new and risky. So you do get some confidence about what you're going to do. So of course, it's going to prevent you from losing money in this process. So that's about design sprints. We have other webinars for deep dives. And in the end, what's important to know is that this is a very quick and effective problem-solving process that has a very clear structure. Good. So that was the introduction. Hope you enjoyed it. do you want to add something to my beautiful definition of design sprints? Short and sweet. Dana is rushing me, like go. We have a lot to cover. We have 78 slides we need to go through. Right. So AI design sprints versus AI-powered design sprints. What's the difference? They both leverage AI technologies, but for from different angles. And I'm going to start with AI design sprints, which is essentially a design sprint that you're using to come up with AI-powered solutions. So say you want to create a new AI product, or when you're trying to incorporate AI into your existing product, services, or even process, right? So that's what we refer to AI design sprints. As I was saying, it basically combines the traditional design sprint with AI expertise. Now, in order to answer 2 big questions, and I think these are very, very important when we're thinking about AI design sprints. First of all, of course, how can we leverage AI? We have this amazing technology, like how can we use it in our products, in our services? And then I think the other key question is, will people use it? Because sometimes you can put the most amazing thing or technology in front of people, and they're just resistant to change, and they're not going to use it. And we've seen that happen. So this is something that you can accomplish with the AI design sprint. And how does the process work? Well, first of all, you're not starting with the design sprint, and we prefer to do a little bit of problem framing or AI problem framing before the sprint to define what's your AI opportunity. And these are like roughly the stages that we go through. You can start with some inspiration. Like you need to see what other AI use cases exist in your industry. And this is quite easy to do at the moment because why not? You can ask ChatGPT to give you those examples, and you can see here one that we created. I mean, you can pretend that you're in healthcare, and then here are a few use cases of AI in hospital management and medical field, and this is just about half of them. I think we
There are
had a
10
lot
more,
more.
but I didn't put everything on on the slides.
But it's really good to contextualize the problem space and really understand what's possible, because it's very hard to put a team of non-experts, right? Like they have no idea what's possible, and say like, we're going to identify opportunities for AI. How? Right? Like you need to know what's possible. So that's step number one: trying to contextualize the problem space by bringing in this sort of use cases. But then you also need to have a purpose as a business, right? Like you need to define what your business needs. Why do you want to apply AI rather than it's a new and sexy technology? So that's why it's like, what are you trying to do? Are we trying to improve a business process, right? Like automate it? Are we trying to optimize our existing products? Are we trying to come up with a new product altogether? Like what it is that we're trying to do here. So that's the business side of things. You can also look for opportunities on the customer side of things. Oh, before that, like, oh, this is something new. We just saw it today, and we included it in the presentation. It's from PwC, and it says like rather than going to a big bang AI project, we're going to do everything AI now. It's really wise to find like small bets, opportunities to begin with and prove the success of an AI implementation. So look for the small wins here. And we felt like this fitted very nicely with the approach that we're recommending as well. Then, as I was saying, other opportunities can be on the customer side. It says their customer or employee need. Why? Because sometimes we're solving problems for our customers, sometimes we're solving problems for ourselves, especially when we're working on our processes. So again, you can identify AI-friendly problems, like look at tasks that are very repetitive or require many people or decision-making based on predictions, things like this. And then at the end, you can evaluate and decide whether an AI solution is really worth it. You're doing like a little bit of sanity check, feasibility check. That's why you need the experts. Like, do we have the right models, available data, infrastructure? Like, can we support an AI solution if we implement it? What is going to cost us? Like, what's the effort? And then what impact can the solution have on our business? Right, so that's something that we do before. It's problem framing. It's our regular problem framing. It's just that like we have a little bit of an AI flavor to it. And then once you're very clear with the opportunity, right, like with where you want to apply AI, then it's time to put together the sprint team. And the sprint team should have the regular cross-functional experts, like think your sales, your marketing, your designers. These are like domain experts who are capable to work in that opportunity space. But besides them, they need to have the AI experts. And here we're thinking about data scientists, AI engineers, I don't know, university professors teaching for decades, these sorts of people. So you need to have those perspectives. Otherwise, it's not going to be an AI design sprint, because just the domain experts simply do not have the knowledge to come up with those solutions, even if you're giving them cards or prompts or whatever. Good. So forming the team, very important, and then run the design sprint. And here I just want to emphasize how certain activities are changed just because this is an AI design sprint. And so like this is a 4-day design sprint that we're running with the 6 phases. And the first change is during the understand phase of the design sprint. At this phase, typically the team shares what they know about the problem space, making sure that everyone is on the same page. This is still going to happen, and you have the domain experts sharing their knowledge and insights. And by the way, that's going to be very helpful for those only AI experts in the room, because they're going to have the context of the problem they're going to try to solve using the AI technology. But at the same time, the AI experts need to educate the team with what's possible with AI. So what are some AI capabilities? What are some limitations? Where is this going? So it's basically both of these teams, groups, right?
Two worlds come together.
Come together, because a lot of time you have a deep AI expert and they have all of that knowledge, but don't know how to apply it because they miss the business context or the problem context. So that's why you need to have both of these things. Perfect. Moving forward, day two is all about coming up with solutions. And as part of the design sprint, before the team actually sketches their own solutions, they need to be inspired. The exercise, it's called lightning demos, for those of you who don't know. And in this exercise, we bring a lot of AI examples so people can see working real world AI solutions. This is where we rely heavily on those AI experts in the room because they would know of those things. We also encourage the teams to look themselves, but it's something that we tend to prepare and make sure we put it in front of the team so they have enough inspiration. And then, of course, everyone sketches their own solutions around AI. And then in the evaluation process, the only other things that we're introducing, we're looking at feasibility, like how feasible is that solutions. And of course, you can introduce like ethical checks as well, and things like this when you evaluate these solutions. All right. Once you decide what it is, you create a realistic prototype of how your envisioned AI solution would work. Common prototype formats here. I mean, you can have many. You can have a keynote presentation. You can have a demo. You can do a video. Wizard of Oz, right? Like sort of mock interfaces that are controlled by humans. If you want to emulate a chatbot, I don't know, anything that shows how the AI system is going to work. Good. And then you're going to test it. What you're looking for. Are people going to use it? Is the AI solution better than the current alternatives people have? Is it more intuitive? Do we feel our customers are going to be resistant to this change? And then just like in a normal design sprint, you see what exactly works, what doesn't work, what needs to be improved. Right, so that's kind of how the AI design sprint works. Of course, when we do an AI design sprint, it can also be an AI-powered design sprint, meaning that at all of these phases, you can use AI to help the team come up with solutions. But we're going to cover this in the next part. So that's going to be included. Now, outcomes of an AI design sprint. A value proposition, right? This is the value proposition of our future AI product. You can have like a trailer, much like your Dropbox video that shows how the product would work. And then also you can have a product roadmap if you have a mature team, if you're like more advanced, you can already come out of the design sprint with a plan on how to develop your AI product. So this could be the outcomes. And I think this kind of summarizes our approach to AI design sprints. Of course, through all of these stages, we can use AI to augment the team capabilities. And that's something that we're going to cover during the AI-powered design sprint. Good. So in this case, we're going to use AI as a creative assistant, right? Helping both the facilitator, but also augmenting the capabilities of the sprint team. And then there are two ways in which AI tools can assist the sprint team and the facilitator. One is to speed up everything, and you're going to see what I mean by everything. It's not quite everything. And then expand and enrich teams' outputs. So where do AI tools bring value? It's at all phases, during sprint preparation, during the actual process, and then, of course, when you're putting together the sprint results and building your report. So let's go through all of these phases so we can see more specifically how this works. First of all, during the sprint preparation, it can help you with speeding up or enriching how you write the sprint briefs. Before we start the sprint, we were writing these briefs. This is a brief from one of our sprints. We basically were trying to improve processes on the factory floor where operators are encountering all sorts of issues. And if the issues are bad enough, basically an entire factory shuts down, stops production, and it's very, very expensive.
And it's a very real challenge.
Yes. Yeah. A very complicated one as well. And as you can see, we're capturing a lot of information as we're doing these sprints, like what are the business goals, why do we want to solve this problem, like how are we going to measure the success. We're looking also at the customer context, which are the factory workers, people on the factory floor here. This is our target user segment. What are some of our assumptions? Like all of these things are insights, information that we put in the brief to help the team. And how do we use AI here? Well, like sometimes these briefs are not written, how can I say, in the most inspiring way, let's say, or in the most complete way. And a lot of time it's just like information that different stakeholders throw at us. And then with AI, we can put it in a format that's more impactful. So for example, here we took the problems and we put them in a format, problem, impact, and it was much more powerful. Did you want to add something?
What's very important is even in those briefs is to have focus and to stay focused on what's important and it's relevant. And sometimes words get the best of us, right? We put too many things to many repetitive information and you forget what we're here to solve in the first place. And with this system, you basically highlight what's important, and always like it's a problem, whatever is a problem, it needs to have an impact. If it has zero impact on productivity, on the way we work, or the impact is very low, maybe it's not such an important problem in the first place. So focus is the key.
I know many people skip the sprint brief, but for us, I think this is the most important thing that we do when we run design sprints.
When we prepare, when we start, it's like step one is for us as consultants, we need to understand the stage that our client is at, and what are the gaps? What is it that's missing? What is it that's unclear?
Yeah.
And for us, we need to have this clarity. And the sprint brief is step 0, how to say.
Good. So we have the sprint brief. The other thing, before the sprint, we also want to be very clear on who is the persona. And why is that? Because knowing who the persona is allows us to gather insights and factual data about the users and put them in front of the sprint team so they can use those insights when they ideate. So this avoids working with assumptions during design sprints. The problem is that sometimes we're working with such personas where information it's limited, you don't have it, or
sometimes we don't have anything.
Sometimes we don't have anything. Like in this case with the factory operator, we couldn't get information because those people would not speak English and or our language or any language that we could speak to them, and it was very hard to gather that information. So here we used ChatGPT to tell us, okay, what would be the key responsibilities of a factory operator, and we actually got some really good information. The only thing that I want to emphasize here is like we're not just like using this information, something we validate afterwards. And then once we got that input, we put them into Miro AI, and Miros can do sentiment clustering. We can see what's pain points, what's like positive things. We're color coding this, so it's really nice. But essentially with ChatGPT and Miro AI, we can build a proto-persona, which is a persona based on assumptions. And that's something that we validate with our stakeholders, with our clients before going into a design sprint. So we're not just taking the output of ChatGPT and like, this is what we're going to work with in a design sprint, but it's giving us such a great head start. And then once we quickly validate with our customers, it's good to go for the design sprint.
Yes, because ChatGPT will give you the most standard, general, popular, like the things that are standard, because whatever it can find on the internet, and those things need to be in front of us because they happen all the time and are part of the job responsibilities, and this is what people need to do at work. And then we need to double check it with
our clients, but like our clients, it's so easy for them to give us then the relevant information because they're just looking at what you see here on the screen. Oh no, they don't actually have these challenges in our factory, but they do have this one, because like they already see the format in which they need to provide the information. So it's generally an easy way to do this.
And I just want to add that we noticed that it's so powerful to bring in front of a client something that is even wrong, because our human brains are so much capable of uncovering mistakes and tell you exactly that's not right. This is how things don't
People love
work.
to correct.
And they love to correct, and they give you a very specific picture because they recognize, and it makes our process very efficient because they can tell you exactly what's wrong, what's not fitting the picture, and correct it on the spot. So we have at the end a very
and previously
good
before we had ChatGPT, we had to do desk research for this, and it was time consuming. And then the same we do for customer journey maps. Again, we do our customer journey maps before the sprints because in many instances we run sprints for very complex problems, and then creating them inside the workshop is just not feasible, and people might not have the right expertise to build this up. It's something that we do as well, using ChatGPT, and we simply ask them to like here, right? And like, tell me how like a factory operator does his or her duties, and start with step 1, log in, step 2, and then fill in the rest of the story. And as you can see already, we have here a very nice user journey. We have a good picture of what a factory operator might do. But we're working on a sprint where there are issues and everything stops working, and ChatGPT missed that step. So we asked him, it, her, I'm not sure how to address like what pronouns ChatGPT has, but like he added the other information. And again, it's something we put into Miro, and then we validate with the client with working, making sure that this is their process. And of course, it's like not 100% accurate, like it's far from that, but it's 60% there, 70% there. It's then so easy to fill in the rest of the steps. As you can see, this is the end result of the work. So it was a pretty big map because it's a complex factory, complicated process that they have. But with the help of ChatGPT and a couple of calls, we managed to do it fairly easy. And this would have been very, very complicated without. Usually because took us like a few iterations, and like
it's very hard even to know what to ask.
Yes.
So if I'm not a process expert in that factory, I don't even know what questions to ask and to whom to ask them.
Yeah.
So having a starting point, it's more than effective.
So for us, that's been like one of the major lifesavers in preparing the sprints. And I will always say, like, preparing the sprint is the hardest part of a design sprint workshop. Running the sprint in itself, if you do this preparation, it's the fun bit. But like AI tools can help you during the sprint facilitation as well. And we use them mostly for expanding and enriching the team's output, not so much for ideation, right? So we're still keeping to the original process where the team is responsible for coming up with ideas and creating the content, but then AI can give you another perspective. So for example, these were the questions from the top 3 questions. These are the big assumptions, blockers that the team wanted to verify during the sprint. This is what they came up with. We just asked ChatGPT, okay, can you come up with additional questions along the same lines, which are linked to the same big long-term goal that the team has? Well, and then it's just giving the team another perspective, maybe something they have not considered, but like it still takes into account team's input. So that's one way. The other one is for how might we, and generally how might we is such a difficult exercise because this is where teams struggle a lot, right? It's the part where you take the challenges and you turn them into opportunities. So what we're doing here after the team has done their ideation part, we basically use ChatGPT to come up with other perspectives. I see that question about compliance. I'm going to answer it because like it recently came up in one of the sessions. So yeah, like here it helps you.
Sometimes you don't have all the perspectives in your team.
Yeah.
You might not get your factory operations manager. You might not get your human resources manager. You might not have those people there with you to think about those perspectives, but are still very, very important. You might have somebody from compliance missing, right? Using ChatGPT to bring those perspectives in, it's really, really helpful as it changes the point of view.
All right, so that's another example here, and then another big one is prototyping. Here, the one tool that we always recommend is Wizard. This is a prototyping tool for non-designers, the other way around, right? They've added AI capabilities, which means that you can give Wizard instructions on what your prototype should be. In a design sprint, you end up with a storyboard. So basically, you can just narrate your storyboard to Wizard, and they're going to create a prototype based on that.
We have a video.
Oh yeah, we have a video. Something like this. And this is the first try. And then after you get the designs, you can refine individual screens, you can create themes, you can replace images. So you can ask the AI, hey, this image, I need the image of a horse in the middle of the desert. That's what I need to have there, and that's what you're going to have. So it's really good from this perspective. It works well with the designers, but also like with business teams that don't have these capabilities. It just gives you such an amazing foundation to work with. Oh, I see here from the chat that Wizard is great. Well, it's great indeed. And if you want to try it, we have this exclusive offer for whoever is for all of you attending this webinar. So just like take a screenshot of this and use these codes if you want to try Wizard and its AI feature for prototyping.
Especially with this new feature, you can really refine your prototype so it really matches your storyboard and it's unique. It's not like something random generated by AI. It can really put your standout idea in front of the customers and make a very, very compelling case. So it's extremely
even the first
fast.
one was good because it gave you a foundation, but with this one where you can go screen by screen and actually work with the AI and flesh it out until you get to the point that you want, it's just such a game changer. And I still remember long prototyping days. Even in one of our last design sprints, it took I don't know, like 10, 11 p.m. to finish the prototype. With Wizard, it's much faster. Good. And then I'm going to let you talk about this because you like this part. We can use also AI after the design sprint.
So the work doesn't end with the design sprint. It's still a lot of work to do afterwards because your stakeholders expect results. They want to understand what did we find out? How did we validate it? What's the plan to do next? And we usually, as we facilitate and we run those workshops, we also take care of synthesizing the interviews, and we use Otter AI. I don't know why this isn't. And basically, it's a bot that records your conversation, and you can very easily find the insights or the things that you find important and highlight them and transfer them into a nice report afterwards. but it's very, very helpful because especially in testing, people go in circles and it's very hard to remember like what's the key element, what do I want to remember there, what's the insight I want to capture. And this way, I feel that you don't miss anything. You don't miss the nuance, which sometimes it's very easy to not spot. And we now switch to Notion to do our reports, but you can also do them. Like I'm going to show you another method, but Notion also has their own AI, which helps summarize, cluster, organize, and conclude. Like that's what I love most. Is like you put all the input, and the AI extracts the conclusion, and it's like so easy to put everything in a very nice language, easy to understand, and highlight the important things just by using Notion AI. It's another example. Yeah, here's like how we copy paste the results from Author and we put them in Notion, and Notion does all the works to summarize and synthesize and organize the data. Of course, you have to double prove it. Like I don't take anything for granted. I read everything, I make sense of everything, and there are lots of things that are being missed, but still it brings speed. A lot of speed, which you might not have, and you might lose time on things that are not so important in the end.
Okay.
And it also helps with the replay reports, as I said. We also have like a keynote. We're just thinking now maybe Notion is better because it just brings you speed. Good. So this is how it works. Before the sprint, during the sprint, and after the sprint, there are tiny little bits that can enhance and speed up your work. And we found that it made us just more efficient. We're just faster and we can do the work of two.
I'd say mostly it's for us, it's before and after the sprint. This is like where it's like the big time savings. Of course, like during the sprint as well, but like those two, especially we're consultants, so we're also looking for our best interest. Good. So what are some best practices about incorporating this? Good. What do we have? Yes, understand the capability. I was reading the questions as well, so that's why I lost my train of thought.
You always defocus, like,
yeah,
oh my
I
God,
always
don't
like,
look at that screen.
it's so easy for me to defocus. I immediately like look at
don't
stuff.
Stop writing this, but John cannot focus.
I love the questions. I love the questions much more than we see. So understanding the capabilities and limitations of AI, that's why it's so important to get those AI experts into the sprint. Identify meaningful use cases, which is where we run the problem framing sessions, because otherwise you're just going to waste everyone's time getting them into an AI workshop to do something. Although we're using AI, it still should solve a user problem. So user research, empathy, they still should be part of the process. Actually, they should lead the process as well. And then long term, I think you need to empower your teams with AI knowledge and skills. I mean, a lot of the things that we learn, we also learn them because we're using these tools on a daily basis, not only for design sprints, but like all sorts of things. So like slowly you need to make sure your team gets the knowledge and also the skills and habits of using these tools. Risk of overuse, bias amplification. I mean, all of these are trained models. They're using existing data, which in many cases is biased. If you rely too much on it, and you might lose empathy because you're just looking at the data that AI is feeding, and you're not like really trying to build your own empathy with the user. Stifle original thinking. And this, I think, was a question like, why don't you let AI ideate? Like, we tried, but in many cases we felt like it's just regurgitating content and shuffles it in different ways, and it's not as original, as crisp as a human would do it.
Yeah, we think it's not there yet. It's probably gonna get there. but at this
it might
point,
be, but not
right now. It's not there yet.
like we tried.
We tried.
We really tried, but it's the results were bland. Were just
like common, special, nothing, no revolutionary, no. It's like a college student would come up with them, like without any expertise or
it invites laziness as well, right? And I think long term it's going to impact your team's ability to do creative problem solving, because let's just like let ChatGPT or AI or ideate this for us. So it might get there, but I don't think, or we don't think it's there yet. And that's at least our perspective.
Because we also work on very challenging issues, like very complex problems. So it's not like how do we make our office more fun, like things like that, where like maybe some common solutions would work. Like the challenges are very complex, and we find that only experts with deep expertise, which are also the sprint team members, can really come up with good ideas.
Because otherwise there's no point of doing a design sprint. We're just like, it's going to be one person with the AI and going through the process. Like why do you need then? Why do you need the experts? Why do you need your domain experts in the room? Like
just ask AI and it's done.
What's the impact of AI design sprints? We do think, right, that it will open new horizons, new possibilities. It's going to lower the barriers to entry when it comes to creating new products and new services, which I feel that slowly they're going to be of better and better quality as the technology evolves. But still, again, technology is not everything. And I feel like if we still want to innovate, now, technology is not the only thing. We still need to ask the right questions. We still need to use and deploy empathy, and we still need to use our imagination. Coming back again to why do we still need to ideate? And as a matter of fact, we still need to solve some real problems. And I think that was our content. I think you have a couple more slides, and then we can do questions. I'm looking at the questions.
So there are two more things I want to talk about. In case you felt connected to our presentation, our topic today, and you feel the need that your teams will need to learn this fast and effective way to build products, or how to de-risk projects, or how to use this framework to change the status quo and maybe grow your organization, we put all our learnings and all our experience in the past 10 years into our training programs. And until now, we managed to work with professionals around the world, certified more than 200 facilitators. And we got great reviews from our clients because we do focus on building those long-lasting skills. Make sure that it has a practical application, design sprint and the problem framing inside your company, and you can always replicate the outcomes. That being said, you can find out more about our offer and enroll your teams into AI-powered design sprint training. It's a 2-day training where your teams will learn the same things that we know and basically skip the long learning curve and get the best of our knowledge. Right now, you have a 50% discount until the end of the month. So if you want to secure a spot, book a call with John. He'll be happy to answer questions. He loves to answer questions.
I do sales calls.
So whatever you want to know about our program and the way we run it, John's more than willing to help you. And I just want to remind everyone, right now, this year, we only have 2 in-person events left, and we're going to Riyadh in December 11 and Dubai December 13. And I hope to see as many of you there as possible. It's going to be a great topic. And hope it's going to be interesting.
Good.
Okay, that being said,
we have 10 more minutes for a conversation, for some questions.
Maybe Alex, if you can remove the share screen, or who does that? So it's like just your face on the.
I'm sharing the screen.
I don't know how.
Yes.
Yeah, it's better. Okay.
We also have Alex here. Like you can see his
yes.
on the screen.
Alex is like our hidden weapon who does all the work behind the scenes, and he deserves like a lot of appreciation. Thank you, Alex. for helping us out. Okay, we have the Q&A. You know, when you click start answering, they appear. So
where is
there
it?
something that you go on the Q&A? Yeah, up there.
Q&A.
And you click start answering, and it appears on the screen.
Okay. See, I mean, it's been a while since we've.
Because I know you have your eye on some questions. Which are those?
No, I mean, I saw them coming, so it's like.
So how do you deal with compliance, privacy, and legal challenges using a tool like ChatGPT?
I mean, we never share, Jeroen, we're never sharing sensitive data, right? So, for example, we're working with one of the big management consultancies. We're telling ChatGPT, you are a consultant in one of the big four, and you're encountering these sort of problems, right? Or the example with the factory I just shared. It could be any factory in the world. It's like, hey, you're operating machines on a factory floor. So we're never sharing this sort of information because, yeah, we would run into those sort of
Plus, the only
problems.
answers you would get from ChatGPT right now are general answers, are general things. So you will not get very specific to your company in your specific industry. So
I think so. We're not very worried about that because we're not sharing sensitive data with ChatGPT there. What else?
Answering.
Done. Thank you for your instructions. Why are you not using it for ideation itself? I do feel like we covered this. We just don't think it can do that right now, and then I feel that long term is just going to decrease the quality of the output of the product. So not there yet, but it might be. Actually, like everything that we show, like 2-3 months from now, might be outdated because this whole thing moves at a very fast pace. So that's also why we made a decision. Let's share what we learned so far, because it might not be relevant in 3 months, 6 months from now. Are you mostly running 4 or 5 day sprints nowadays? Just curious. We're running 4-day design sprints when we're doing them in person. We're running them over 5 days when we're doing them remotely. However, there is like variations depending on the teams we work with, what availability they have. But it's mostly 4 days in person. It's been a while since we've run a remote design sprints, to be honest. But at the end of the day, you can do it in as many days as long as you go through all of the stages of the design sprint, meaning you end up with a prototype which you put in front of customers, so you get to test your output. Otherwise, it's just a problem-solving workshop.
I put another question.
Regarding the proto persona, what do you do if your customer insists to work out 2 personas or 2 journeys during the design sprint? I mean, they can insist. It's not going to happen because in a design sprint, we only focus on one. But what we do in that case, during the problem framing part, we prioritize together with them, because in a design sprint, you do need to test with one type of persona. You simply cannot fit 2. So you would do your client a disservice by trying to fit too much in the design sprint. So the answer is prioritization at the beginning before the design sprint, and then you might do, after you learn the insights from testing with the first persona, you do a quicker iteration sprint where you tweak the prototype for the second one and then you test it. So that's how we approach these things.
And we also prefer to do the user journey before the design sprint and to base it on research and data. So it's not an ideation session with the team, but it comes from the facts after studying whatever data we have on that.
Most of the organizations that we work with have lots of data. They're running research. Actually, they have research departments. And then what we're trying to do in these design sprints, it's connect the design sprint to the actual research data that they have. And we do that in the forms of these customer journeys, which are very, very rich in data. So that's why we don't get into a situation where we have to decide that inside a design sprint. Plus, even doing a single customer journey map in a design sprint would be very difficult, let alone handling 2 of them. I don't know how that would work. I hope this helps.
I had this one.
Curious how much time you save by using AI with the design sprints. I think this is important. How much time do we, even with the maps? I think this is where we. It's a lot. We worked once with a construction company, and we had to map out how they build huge infrastructure projects like airports, stadiums, skyscrapers in New York, like things like this, big projects. It's not an easy task. And
I spent like 2 days researching the internet, like what maps are there, like.
And then when we showed it, it was so far off. They were looking at us. No, you're missing like 30 steps in our process, and that's after two days of work. So the whole map took a few days to iterate and back and forth with our customer. And of course, without this sort of map, there's no workshop. And now we get the starting point within half an hour, 1 hour with some good prompts. So that's how much time it saves you. Plus, you get much quicker to the questions that you want to ask. So it's been
a lot.
It's really good.
It depends on the context and depends on the challenge, but.
Okay.
One more question.
Maybe this one would be for you. Are there any tips you can share about making the most of your research sessions with end users on the last day? That's a long question. Specifically, how this might be different with an AI product compared to a normal product? I don't think I understand the question. Like, is the testing different if we're doing an AI?
You're still testing with humans, so the testing is not different. It's just, of course, you're gonna have a different prototype.
But we might not even tell those users that it's an AI product, right? We're testing an experience with them, an interface, a value proposition.
Exactly, because with customers, you're testing the desirability, and you are trying to find out how exactly would they use this solution in real life. How is the solution better or worse compared with what they're using right now, and how is the solution solving the problem? Those are the main questions. We are not trying to find out anything else.
It's still the 5X interview. It's still going through the prototype. It's still giving people a mission. Like, this is a new product we came up with. Like, try to solve this problem that you're having. Use it, right? So we're trying to make it as real as possible. So nothing is really changing here.
Yeah.
So nothing special, just regular design sprint testing.
Yeah. And one more, and
do this program online. I'm from India. Currently, we're
yes, we have the online corporate training. So if your company would like to get this training for your entire team, this can be done online, no problem.
As well.
So it's a corporate training for teams, which is available in person and online.
Okay. Do you have more talks like this coming up? Yes, next year. We're trying to do them as regularly as we can, but we also do a lot of in-person ones nowadays. So we're trying to balance everything with also the client work that we're having. But yes, and
that would be it, I think. Only if you want to take one more, or
how to do it. Did I miss using AI for prototype testing? Yes, Mo. We recommended Wizard here, and you're going to see that in the recording. So it's included.
Right, and that being said, I don't want to hold everyone for more than necessary. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope it was a valuable session for you. Please leave us comments or any other questions. We're happy to answer them even offline via email. And of course, if you're interested in this type of training, we would be very keen to learn about it, and feel free to book a call with John. He will tell you even more about it. And that being said, until next time, or see you soon, Riyadh and Dubai.